The alien queen was captured. She begged for mercy, offering her superpowers in return. In the cold metal belly of a human warship drifting near the edge of known space lay a prisoner unlike any other. The alien queen Zara, once ruler of the vast viral empire, now chained in a dim cell, her silver skin dull with exhaustion, her long violet eyes filled with fear. She had ruled star systems with a thought, commanded fleets with a whisper, but now she was alone. Powerless and terrified, Captain Lisa Morrow stood outside the cell, arms crossed, her face unreadable behind the clear visor of her helmet. She had led the raid that brought Zara down, a desperate strike against the virile homeworld. After years of brutal war, humans had lost billions, and Earth itself bore scars from orbital strikes Zara had ordered. But something in the Queen's eyes now was different. Not the cold arrogance of a conqueror, but the raw desperation of a mother. "Open the door," Lisa ordered, her voice steady. "Sir, are you sure?" Lieutenant Carter asked, his hand hovering over his sidearm. She said. The heavy door hissed open, revealing the Queen curled on the floor, her four slender arms wrapped around herself, her long hair like spun starlight tangled and matted. She looked up, slowly blinking against the harsh light. "You came," she whispered, her voice melodic yet broken. "I did." Lisa stepped inside the cell, stopping just out of reach. "They told me you would not speak to anyone." Zara said, "I waited for you." "Why me?" "Because you are the one who spared the children on Xanthar. You ordered your troops to avoid the nursery spire even when it cost you the battle." Lisa stiffened. She had not expected the Queen to know that it had been a secret order given only to her closest officers. "You remember Mercy," she said softly. "I remember everything." Zara rose slowly, her chains clinking against the floor. She swayed slightly but held herself tall. "You humans call us monsters, but we are not all the same, just as you are not. What do you want, Zara?" "Mercy." She dropped to her knees, the motion graceful despite her weakness. "I beg you, Captain Morrow, spare my life and I will give you everything. Everything, my powers, my knowledge, my loyalty. I can show you how to heal your wounded with a touch, how to bend light to hide your ships, how to speak to stars themselves. Why would you do this? Because my empire is gone. My people scattered, my son dead by the hand of my own general who betrayed me for power. There is nothing left for me but revenge, and if I cannot have it, then let me serve a cause worthier than conquest." Lisa studied her. The Queen's eyes held no deceit, only sorrow and a flicker of hope. "How do I know you are not lying?" "You do not," Zara admitted. "But you know what it is to lose everything. You know what it is to carry the weight of command and still choose kindness." Lisa remembered her brother lost in the first wave of the Varel invasion, remembered holding his hand as he bled out on a ruined street in Chicago. She remembered choosing not to burn the nursery on Xanthar because she saw his face in every child's eyes. "What would you ask of me in return?" "Nothing," Zara said. "Only let me help you stop the ones who destroyed us both. My general core, he plans to use the heart of Varel, the core that powers our world, to tear open rifts in space. He will not stop at Earth. He will consume every living thing to feed his hunger." Lisa felt a chill that had nothing to do with the ship's climate control. "How soon?" "Days, perhaps hours, if he has already begun the ritual and you can stop him with your help." "Yes." Lisa turned to the door and called for Carter. "Release her, sir." "That is an order." The chains fell away with a soft clatter. Zara rubbed her wrists, but did not rise. "Why are you doing this, Captain?" "Because sometimes the bravest thing a soldier can do is trust." Zara smiled faintly, a tear tracing a path down her silver cheek. "Then let us be brave together." They raced against time, the human ship. The Ares, swift and lean, cut through the void toward the dying star at the center of the viral system. As they neared, sensors screamed with energy readings off the scale. The heart of Viral pulsed like a wounded god, its light flickering red and black. "Core is already inside," Zara said from the co-pilot seat, her fingers dancing over a borrowed console. She had adapted human tech to viral frequencies with astonishing speed. "He will not expect me to return. Can you get us in? I can open a path, but it will not last long." "Doe." The ship shuddered. As a tunnel of warped space opened before them, they plunged into the heart, a cavern of living crystal where time itself seemed to breathe. Core stood at the center, his form twisted by stolen power, his eyes burning with madness. "Traitor," he hissed. Seeing Zara, you dare return to DA? Return to end you. Zara stepped forward, her voice ringing with authority. She raised her hands and light bloomed from her palms. Not the harsh glare of weapons, but the soft glow of creation. Lisa and her team moved to flank him, but Kor laughed and flicked his wrist, sending waves of dark energy crashing toward them. Zara intercepted it, her body absorbing the blast. She staggered but held firm. You cannot stop the inevitable. He roared. The universe must be remade, Infireno, Zara said gently. It must be healed. She reached deep into herself, drawing on the last of her royal essence, the power that had once held an empire together. She did not attack. She offered instead, pouring her energy not into destruction, but into balance. The heart of Virel responded, its pulse steadying its light. Returning to gold, Kor screamed as the stolen power fled him. His body crumbling to ash. It is done, Zara whispered, collapsing to her knees. Lisa ran to her, catching her before she hit the ground. You saved us all, we saved each other. Zara smiled weakly. Look outside the heart, the stars seemed brighter, the rifts sealing themselves, the damage already beginning to mend. What now? Lisa asked. Now, Zara said, I have no empire, no throne, but I have a promise to keep. I will teach your people what I know, not as a queen, but as a friend. Lisa helped her stand. Then welcome aboard, as the Ares turned toward home. 2 women, 1 human, 1 alien, walked side by side, not as captor and prisoner, but as allies bound by sacrifice and hope. The war was over, but a new story was just beginning. And in the quiet hum of the ship's engines, it felt like peace. Zara looked out the viewport at the endless stars. You know, she said softly, Earth has the most beautiful sunsets. I will show you one someday. Lisa replied, I would like that. And for the first time in years, both of them believed in tomorrow. The peace held, but peace is never still. It moves like water, shifting shape with every new hand that reaches out, every new voice that chooses kindness over fear. On the quiet moon colony where Lisa and Zara now lived, the days passed in gentle rhythm, teaching, tending, listening. But the universe is vast, and even the calmest sea has hidden currents. One morning, a small ship landed, not white like the others, but scarred and patched, its hull marked with symbols. No one recognized it carried a single passenger, a young woman with human eyes and virile markings on her arms. Her name was Maya, and she was trembling. She collapsed at the gate of the schoolhouse where Zara taught children how to grow light vines that bloomed with soft music. Lisa caught her before she hit the groundwater. Food rest, Zara said, already moving. They brought her inside, wrapped her in warm cloth, and waited until her breathing slowed. Who are you? Maya whispered. We are friends. Lisa said, I come from the edge, the far rim beyond. The chorus world. Zara's eyes narrowed. The edge was unmapped even by the ancient network. What happened? They are waking them up. Who? The sleepers? Zara went very still. The sleepers were a myth, even among her people, beings older than the virile empire, sealed away because they could not be reasoned with. They did not hate. They did not love. They simply consumed thought itself, turning minds into hollow echoes. How do you know this? My village found a vault buried in a dead moon. We thought it held tech or treasure, but it held a key and someone turned it. One man called Silas. He said he wanted to end suffering by ending choice. Lisa exchanged a look with Zara. Silas was once a scientist on Earth, exiled for trying to erase trauma by deleting memory. He vanished years ago. He has the sleepers now, Maya said, and he is heading for the chorus core, the heart of the network. If he reaches it, he will silence every voice in the web, every song, every lesson, every hope. We have to stop him, Lisa said. Not by fighting. Zara reminded her, the sleepers feed on resistance. Then how be giving them something they have never known? What a story. Maya looked confused, but Lisa understood. Silas thinks pain is the only truth, but we will show him joy is just as real. They prepared quickly, not with weapons but with memories. Lisa gathered recordings of children laughing on Mars, of farmers singing on Titan, of Rail, teaching former warriors how to weave solar cloth. Zara collected songs from 100 worlds, lullabies. War chants turned into peace hymns. Star maps drawn by refugee hands. They loaded it all into a small data crystal shaped like a seed. Then they left the moon colony behind, flying not toward battle, but toward understanding. The chorus core was not a place but a convergence, a point in space where all the network signals met like roots joining beneath the soil. They arrived to find Silas's ship already there. Black and sharp like a thorn, he stood in the center of the core, his body wired into the ancient systems, his eyes glowing with stolen power. "You are too late," he said, his voice layered with static and sorrow. "I have already begun the great quiet." Around him, the sleepers drifted, formless clouds of gray that pulsed with emptiness. "You think you are saving them," Zara said, stepping forward. "But you are only making more orphans and pain by ending everything that feels. Yes, then you have already lost." Lisa held up the seed crystal. "We brought you a gift." Silas laughed, a dry, broken sound. "Do not want your stories." But the sleepers leaned closer, drawn not by force but by curiosity. "They have never heard a lullaby," Zara said. "They have never known a mother's voice." She began to sing the same song she sang for her son long ago. The notes, soft and clear, cutting through the static. The sleepers shivered. Silas tried to shut it out, but the song was not an attack. It was an invitation. Lisa played the recordings, the laughter, the songs, the quiet moments of hands planting seeds or holding each other after loss. One of the sleepers drifted toward her. It hovered before her face like mist. "What do you want?" she whispered. "To remember. But you never had a memory." "Not yet." Zara joined her, placing a hand on the cloud. It did not burn or vanish. It softened like frost in morning lights. Isla screamed and tried to pull the sleepers back, but they would not obey. They were listening. "You cannot unmake feeling once it is known," Zara said gently. Silas fell to his knees, the wires snapping from his skin. "I only wanted the hurting to stop." "We all do," Lisa said. "But the answer is not silence. It is connection." She helped him up. The sleepers gathered around them, not as enemies but as students. Zara turned to them. "You do not have to consume. You can create. Show us," they whispered in 1,000 voices. So she did. Over weeks they stayed in the core, teaching the sleepers how to shape thought into beauty, not hunger, how to hold memory without being crushed by it. The beings learned quickly, their forms shifting. From gray mist to soft light. Silas watched at first in shame, then in wonder. "Can I help you?" Lisa said. "Start by listening." When they finally returned to the moon colony, the sleepers came with them. Not as weapons, not as slaves, but as new voices in the chorus. They built gardens that bloomed with living stories. They helped children dream without fear. Maya stayed too, becoming a teacher herself. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Lisa sat with Zara and Silas on the porch. "Do you think it will last?" Zara asked. "Peace." "No," Lisa said. "But we will keep choosing it every day." Silas nodded, his eyes clear. "Now I used to think the universe was broken. It is healing," Zara said. "And we are part of that, in the field below." A sleeper drifted gently over a group of children, showing them how to shape light into birds that sang real songs. Lisa smiled. "They are learning. So are the stars above, burned steady. Not cold, not distant, but alive with the hum of a million choices made for kindness." And in that quiet moment, the future felt not like a promise but a practice, something built hand in hand, heart to heart every single day. No one knew what new shadow might rise from the dark corners of space, but they knew they would face it, not with fire but with open hands, because the greatest power was never in destroying monsters, but in helping them become something else. And that was a story worth telling again and again. Months passed, and the quiet peace that followed felt fragile like thin ice over deep water. Zara and Lisa worked side by side, not as symbols, but as builders. They traveled from station to station, from colony to colony, sharing the book of mending, teaching others how to listen before they fought, how to heal before they struck. Not everyone believed them. Some called them naive. Others called them traitors. But more and more began to listen. On Mars, a group of former Varel scouts surrendered their weapons and asked to learn how to grow food instead of war machines. On Titan, engineers from Earth and exiles from broken alien clans built a shared power grid using Zara's designs. It hummed with clean energy and ran on cooperation, not control. Still, shadows lingered. Rumors spread of a new faction rising in the outer dark. Calling themselves the Pure Flame, they claimed the virile empire had fallen because it grew soft. They wanted to finish what Core started, not with rift seeds but With something worse, a weapon that could silence thought itself. Erase empathy from entire world. Lisa heard the reports while reviewing supply logs on the Eris. They are gathering near the Helix Nebula. Zara said, her fingers tracing star charts on a glowing screen. They have stolen old viral tech and fused it with human neural disruptors. Can they build it? They already have. Lisa stood quickly. Then we stop them. Not with force, Zara said gently. They feed on resistance. Every attack makes them stronger, so what do? We go to them not as soldiers but as witnesses. Lisa frowned. They will kill us on sight. Maybe, but if we show them we are not afraid, they may see themselves in us. It was a risk. But Lisa trusted Zara's instincts more than her own weapons. They took a small unarmed shuttle, painted white with no markings, only a single symbol on the side. 2 hands, 1 human, 1 alien clasped together. The Helix Nebula swirled in colors of violet and gold. A place of beauty and danger. They found the pure flame's base hidden inside a dead comet. Its surface scarred with weapon ports and warning signs. Zara sent a single message: open your hearts. We come in peace. Silence. Then a voice crackled over the comm. This is Commander Rael of the Pure Flame. Leave, or be erased. We will not leave, Zara replied, but we will not fight. Foolishness. The shuttle shuddered as tractor beams locked on. They were pulled inside a vast hollow chamber filled with armed warriors. Their faces masked their weapons, humming with dark energy. At the center stood Rael, tall and sharp-eyed, his silver skin marked with ritual scars. He looked at Zara with cold fury. Traitor, he spat. I was once like you. Rael, Zara said, stepping forward. Hands open. You think pain makes you strong, but it only makes you lonely. You abandoned our people. You bowed to humans. I chose life over pride. Rael raised a weapon, its tip glowing red. Then die with your weakness. But before he could fire, Lisa stepped between them. Wait, Rael hesitated. Why do you protect her? Human? Because she taught me that strength is not in how hard you hit, but in how much you can hold without breaking. Rael's eyes flickered, something behind the anger, a memory perhaps of someone he had lost. My sister died in the fall of Virel, he said quietly. The humans bombed her city. I ordered that strike, Lisa said, her voice steady. I thought it was a military target, but it was a hospital. I have carried that mistake every day since Rael's hand trembled. Then why are you here? To say I'm sorry and to ask you not to become what you hate. The chamber grew still. The warriors lowered their weapons slightly. Zara moved slowly toward Rael. Your pain is real, but it does not have to be your master. Let us help you build something your sister would be proud of. Rael looked at the floor, then at his warriors, then at the 2 women before him. How? Be laying down your weapons and picking up tools. Be listening. By remembering that even stars burn out if they do not share their light. Rael exhaled, long and slow, then unclipped his weapon and placed it on the ground. One by one, his followers did the same. The pure flame did not vanish that day, but it changed. It became a forge, not of war but of repair. They used their knowledge of weapons to build shields for refugee ships. They turned disruptors into scanners that could find lost children in war zones. Back on Earth, Lisa and Zara stood on a hill outside Denver, the city below rebuilt with gardens on rooftops and solar trees lining the streets. Children played in parks where rubble once lay. You did not think it would work, did you? Lisa said. I hoped, Zara replied. Hope is the first seed of change. Then a message came from deep space, a signal unlike any before it. Not Virel, not human, not machine. It pulsed in patterns that felt like questions. Who is it? Zara listened through the station's comm array, her eyes wide. It is old, older than my people, older than yours. What does it want? It is asking if we are ready. Ready for what? To join the chorus. The chorus, the network of worlds that watch and wait and help when they can. They do not rule. They do not conquer. They simply are. And they offer wisdom to those who prove they can carry it without breaking. How do we answer? Not with words, Zara said, with action, Zoe. They gathered every world that had joined the Book of Mending, every former enemy, every refugee, every builder. And they built a beacon not of power but of story. They sent out songs of healing, maps of cooperation, records of mistakes made, and lessons learned. The signal pulsed again this time. Warmly, you are ready. A portal opened near Jupiter. Not a rift, but a doorway. Soft and silver. Zara and Lisa stood before it. "Do we go?" Lisa asked. Together, Zara said. They stepped through on the other side. Was not a place, but a presence vast and gentle like the ocean holding every drop without drowning it. "Welcome," it said. "Not in words, but in feeling. What do you want from us? Nothing, only to walk with you." And so began the next chapter. Not of war, not of empire, but of belonging. Years later, Lisa would sit on a porch on a quiet moon colony. Her hair gray, her hands wrinkled, but her eyes bright. Zara beside her. Still silver, still strong. Still her friend. Children of many species played in the fields below, laughing in a dozen languages. "You ever miss the old days?" Lisa asked. "The fighting? No, the fear. No, but I miss the feeling that every choice mattered." "They still do." Zara said. "Look, a young human girl helped a viral child plant a seed in the soil there, hands working together without hesitation. That is the future we built, and it is enough." Lisa leaned back in her chair, the sun warm on her face. "It is more than enough." In the distance, a new ship arrived, painted white with two clasped hands on its side, carrying more dreamers, more healers, more bridges waiting to be crossed, and the universe hummed softly in approval. The years flowed like a river, wide and slow, carrying stories from world to world. The moon colony had grown into a quiet city of learning where humans, viral sleepers, and others lived not as separate groups, but as one community. Children played in gardens that glowed with soft light. Elders taught history not as a list of battles, but as lessons in choice and consequence. Lisa's hair was fully silver now, her steps slower, but her eyes still sharp with purpose. Zara remained unchanged by time, her silver skin still bright, her violet eyes still kind, but even she felt the weight of all they had carried. One morning a signal came, not from the chorus, not from any known world, but from the void between galaxies, a place so empty, even light grew tired passing through it. The message was simple and carried no voice, only a single image, a child's handprint on a piece of broken metal. "Who sent this?" Zara asked, studying the data. "No one knows," Lisa replied, "but it is repeating every 7 hours like a heartbeat." They called a gathering in the central hall. Rail, now gray at the temples, Maya with her own students, Silas, who tended the memory orchard where stories grew as fruit. They all looked at the image. "It feels like a cry, not a threat," Maya said. "But who is crying?" Rail asked. "That is what we must find out," Lisa said. They prepared the Ares not for war, but for witness. They loaded it with gifts, not weapons, seeds that could grow in dead soil, songs recorded from every corner of the network. A blanket woven by 100 hands. Zara stood at the helm, her fingers resting on the controls. "This may be the farthest we have ever gone." "Then we go together," Lisa said. They flew for weeks through silence so deep it pressed against the hull like water. The stars grew fewer, the dark thicker, until even the chorus signals faded to whispers. Then they saw Eddie's ship, but not like any. They knew it was made of wreckage, human, viral, sleeper, and things older, still fused together by time and desperation. It drifted without power, its lights dark. They docked gently and stepped inside. The air was stale but breathable. The walls covered in drawings. Not words, but pictures of stars, of hands holding, of broken things made whole again. At the center of the ship sat a child, small, thin, with large eyes that held galaxies of loneliness. She looked up as they entered, not with fear, but with a quiet hope. "You came," she said, her voice soft like wind through dry grass. "Who are you?" Lisa asked, kneeling slowly. "I am Eli." The last of the Kara. Zara recognized the name. The Kara were a people who once sang the stars into alignment. Their voices shaped gravity itself, but they vanished centuries ago. What happened? The silence came not like the sleepers, but colder. It ate memory. It left only echoes, and I hid here in this ship built from the bones of my home. How long I do not know. Time stopped when the song stopped. Zara sat beside her. "Can you still Sinjil?" I shook her head, tears falling like tiny stars. "My voice is gone, but maybe it is only sleeping," Lisa said. They stayed for days. They did not push, they did not demand, they simply sat with her, shared food, told stories, showed her the handprint message they had received. "That was mine," she whispered. "I did not know if anyone would see it." We saw it slowly. Eli began to hum, not a full song, just a note, soft and shaky. Zara joined her, then Lisa, then Maya, through the calm from the Ares. their voices weaving together not to fix but to hold. Ellie's note grew stronger. Outside the ship, the dark began to shift, not with light but with resonance, a hum that matched their song. "The silence is listening," she said. "Eyes wide, then sing to it," Lisa said. Ellie stood and raised her small hands and began to sing, not a song of power but of sorrow, of loss, of love that remained even when everything else was gone. The ship around them trembled not with fear, but with memory. Walls lit up with old Kara script stars bloomed in the corridors. Broken panels sealed themselves with threads of sound. The silence did not vanish, but it changed. It became stillness, not emptiness. When the song ended, Eli was taller, her eyes brighter, her voice whole. "Thank you," she said. "What will you do now?" Zara asked. "I will find others if they are out there, and if not, I will plant new songs in the quiet places." They gave her the Ares. "You need it more than we do," Lisa said. "But how will you get home?" "We will walk," Zara said, smiling. Ellie hugged them both, then boarded the ship as she flew away the void, behind her filled with soft light like the first breath of dawn back on the moon. Colony life continued, but something had shifted. The people felt it in their bones, a new note in the chorus. Older and deeper, Lisa sat with Zara on their porch watching. "The twin moons rise. Do you ever wonder if we did enough?" Zara took her hand. "We did what we could with what we had. That is all anyone can do." In the field below, Eli's song played softly from the memory orchard. Children danced to it, their feet light. Their hearts full. Rail walked by with a basket of fruit. He left it on their table and nodded. Maya taught a class on listening, not just with ears but with skin, with breath, with silence. Silas tended a new tree, its leaves shaped like handprints. The universe was not perfect. Pain still came, sorrow still fell like rain, but now there were hands to hold you through it, voices to remind you that you were not alone. One evening, Lisa woke to find Zara standing at the edge of the garden looking up. "What? Is it here a new signal?" "From where?" "From Earth." They went to the comm room together. The message was simple. A request not for help but for teaching. A school in Kansas wanted to learn how to grow light vines, how to sing the old songs, how to mend what was broken. Lisa smiled. "They are ready," Zara nodded. "Then we go, not as heroes, not as saviors, but as neighbors." They packed light this time. Only a few seeds, a few songs, a few stories, as their shuttle lifted off. The colony below glowed with life. Not loud, not flashy, but steady like a heartbeat. They flew toward the blue-green world where it all began, not to end a war but to plant a garden. And in the quiet hum of the engines, two friends knew that the greatest victories were not won with fire, but with faith, with patience, with the simple, brave act of showing up. The stars watched and whispered their approval, not in words but in light. And the song went on. The alien queen walked beside Captain Lisa Morrow through the quiet corridors of the Ares, her silver skin catching the soft glow of overhead lights. She no longer wore chains, but a simple gray uniform tailored to her forearms. The crew watched her with wary eyes, but no one spoke against her presence. Not after what she had done at the heart of Viral Earth grew larger in the viewport. Each hour, a blue-green jewel wrapped in clouds. Zara had seen it from afar during the war, but never up close, never with peace in her heart. She pressed a hand to the cool glass. "It is smaller than I imagined," she said. "But strong," Lisa replied. They landed at Orbital Dock 7, a secure military station circling high above the Pacific Ocean. No fanfare, no crowds, just a handful of officers waiting in stiff formation. General Helen Cruz stood at the front, her expression unreadable. "Captain Morrow, you brought her back alive." "Yes, ma'am, and you trust her?" "Duh." The general studied Zara for a long moment, then nodded sharply. "Very well, she is under your command for now, but one misstep and she goes to Black Site Theta." "Understood, understood." Lisa said. Zara bowed her head slightly. "A gesture of respect, not submission. I mean no harm, only to help. We will see." The general turned and walked away. Over the next few weeks, Zara lived in a small quarters aboard the station. She spent her days working with human scientists, not as a prisoner but as a partner. She showed them how viral energy cells could be restructured to power cities without pollution, how their biolight could heal burns and broken bones. She never asked for anything in return, only a window that faced Earth and a daily cup of something warm that tasted like cinnamon. Lisa Visited often. Sometimes. To debrief, sometimes just to talk. Do you miss your world, Zara, every day? But it is gone the way it was. My people are scattered, some in hiding, some enslaved by warlords who rose after Kor's fall. Can you rebuild it? Not alone, but maybe with friends, Lisa. Smile, D. You have one at least. Own is enough for now. Then news came, a distress signal from the Outer Rim. A human colony on Series 9 had gone silent. Scans showed strange energy spikes, similar to what Kor had used. Zara recognized the pattern immediately. Is the rift seed? She said, eyes wide with dread. Kor must have planted it before he died. It is waking up. How do we stop it? The same way we stopped him. But this time I cannot do it alone. The seed feeds on fear. It grows stronger the more it senses. Panic, then we go quiet, Lisa said. They took the Ares again, this time with a small team of volunteers who knew the risks. Zara taught them breathing techniques to calm their minds, how to shield their thoughts using simple viral chants. It was not magic, she explained. Just focus like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. Sears 9 was dark when they arrived. The colony domes cracked the air, thin and cold. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just silence and a low hum that made teeth ache. The seed is below the central dome. Zara whispered, her hand on Lisa's arm. Stay close. They moved like shadows through the empty streets. The team calm and steady thanks to weeks of training deep in the colony's core. They found it a pulsing black orb floating above a ruined reactor. It pulsed like a heart. But wrong twisted. It knows we are here. Zara said, then let us finish this. Lisa raised her hand and the team formed a circle around the seed. Zara stepped into the center, closed her eyes and began to sing. Her voice was soft at first, then grew stronger, weaving through the air like threads of light. The seed shuddered, trying to lash out with tendrils of shadow. But the humans held firm. Their minds clear, their hearts steady. Zara poured, her energy not to destroy but to soothe, to remind the seed of what it once was before Kor corrupted it. A piece of the universe's song, pure and whole. Slowly the black faded to gray, then silver, then gold. The orb shrank until it was no bigger, then a marble, then dissolved into stardust. It is done. She breathed. The team let out a collective sigh. The hum was gone, replaced by the gentle sigh of functioning life support. You did it, Zara. Lisa said, we did it back on the station. Zara was given new quarters, larger this time, with real plants and a view of the sunrise over North America. She watched it every morning, the colors painting the clouds in pinks and oranges, just as she had dreamed. One evening, Lisa found her on the observation deck. You never told me how you learned to heal like that. Zara turned, her violet eyes soft. When my son was young, he fell from a sky garden, broke his wing bones. Viral children have wings until they mature. I held him all night, singing the old songs until the bones knit themselves back together. That was the first time I felt the true power, not to rule but to mend. Lisa was quiet for a long time. I wish I could have met him. He would have liked you. You have his kindness. They stood in silence, watching Earth spin below. Then Zara spoke again. There is something else. What? The rift seed was not the only one Kor planted. 3 others remain, one near Alpha Centauri, one in the Orion belt, and one closer than we think. We're here, she said, pointing, not to the stars, but down to the blue planet below. Earth is hidden deep beneath the Arctic ice. It has been sleeping, but it is stirring. How do you know? I can feel it like a whisper in my blood. Lisa's face hardened. Then we go. Not yet. Zara said, the Arctic seed is different. It is tied to human minds, not viral. It will respond to human emotion more than alien energy. So what do we do? We find someone who understands both. Who you? Lisa, you have seen war and peace, loss and hope. You carry both in your heart. You can reach it, where I cannot. Mayas, but not alone. Zara reached into a small pouch at her belt and pulled out a smooth stone, glowing faintly blue. This is a focus stone. It will help you hear the seed's pain, not its rage. Listen to it. Do not fight. Lisa took the stone. It was warm like a living thing. When do we leave? Tomorrow. That night Lisa could not sleep. She held the stone in her palm and thought of her brother, of the children on Zenthar, of Zara's quiet strength. She thought of all the things worth saving and Dawn, they boarded a small shuttle painted white with no weapons. Only medical supplies and the focus stone. Zara stayed behind. This was Lisa's journey. The Arctic was white and endless, the ice stretching to the horizon. The shuttle landed near a research outpost long abandoned. The seed signal came from deep below. Lisa descended alone through tunnels of ice, her breath fogging in the cold, the stone glowing brighter with each step. At the bottom, in a cavern of blue ice, she saw it, not black, like the others, but red. Flickering like a dying flame, it pulsed with sorrow, not anger. She sat cross-legged before it and closed her eyes. "Show me," she whispered. Images flooded her mind, not of destruction, but of loneliness. A being born from human fear, of the unknown, of nuclear war, climate collapse, pandemics. It had not wanted to hurt. It had only wanted to be seen. "I see you," Lisa said, tears freezing on her cheeks. The red light softened. She sang then. Not a viral song, but an old lullaby. Her mother used to sing to her and her brother. The seed shivered, then shrank, folding in on itself until it became a single drop of water that fell into the ice and vanished. The cavern grew still. Lisa stood, her legs stiff with cold, but her heart light. When she returned to the surface, the sky was clear, the aurora dancing above her like a celebration. Back on the station, Zara waited. "You did it." It just needed to be heard. As they watched the northern lights ripple over Earth below, Lisa knew the war was truly over, not because enemies were destroyed, but because understanding had taken root. Zara placed a hand on her shoulder. "You are more than a soldier, Lisa Morrow. You are a bridge, and bridges," Lisa said, smiling, "are meant to be crossed." In the days that followed, messages came from other colonies, from other species who had suffered under the virile empire. They had heard of the queen who chose peace. They asked for help. Not weapons, but knowledge. Zara began to write down everything she knew. Her history, her science, her songs. She called it the Book of Mending. Lisa read it every night. One evening she looked up from the pages. "What happens now?" "Now," Zara said, "we build something new. Not an empire, not a military, but a network of care. A web of worlds that choose to listen before they strike." That sounds like a dream. Dreams are just plans waiting for brave people to make them. Lisa closed the book and looked out at the stars. "Then let us be brave." And side by side they stepped into the future. Not as queen and captain, but as friends who had turned the tide of war with a single act of mercy, and in doing so had given the universe a second chance.